Hey everyone, this is Brad in Fort Worth, Texas, and I wanted to do a quick review on the Taran Tactical Sand Viper. So I did one video that I ended up deleting. Goddamn dog. Um, and that's because the reason why I deleted it because it was probably a little bit too personal about the individual Taran, whatever his last name is, or maybe that's his last name. I don't know. So I wanted to keep it really just strictly to the reviews on the gun. So, um, after shooting the gun, um, there's a couple things I like, a couple things I don't like, and again, this is a $8,000 price point, actually $8,500 price point on this pistol. So, um, one thing I will say that's probably the best thing about the gun is, besides the appearance, yeah, it looks real cool, is the trigger. Trigger is super light and the reset is hardly anything. I mean, it may even be a little bit better than an Atlas, or at least on par with. Now, that's the only thing that it probably has on the Atlas, and even the Staccato is the trigger. The trigger is very nice. Um, Reset is hardly anything. It's pretty smooth, the trigger. Not Atlas or Staccato smooth, but it's pretty smooth. Um, I think whenever I was doing the gauge on it, it was, it's definitely sub two, 1.5, sub 2 pounds. The trigger pull weight. One thing, so I put about 300 rounds through this just to kind of test it out and see. Um, One thing I did notice, which I find to be extremely cheap, and I think it's just, I don't know how much of this gun is actually hand fit. I think a lot of it's probably drop in parts. Um, so, as you can see, well, in that first video I did on the Taran Tactical, the barrel moves a lot. Way more than an Atlas, way more than a Staccato or Limcat or Wilson Combat, any of those. So, my guess as to what's happening because of the barrel is jumping so much is that whenever the slide reciprocates and comes back forward, hopefully y'all can see that it is scuffing the shit out of this copper finish, where the compensator, I don't know if that's a welded or what, but and this is only after a couple of hundred rounds. So whenever I get to several thousand rounds, this thing is probably going to be like brushed nickel. All that finish will be worn off, which I think is pretty shitty, especially for the price of the gun. That only after a couple hundred rounds that you already see this wear and tear on the end of the barrel where the compensator meets the barrel. Hopefully that y'all can see that it comes through. So that's pretty shitty. It does have a huge compensator on it. I don't think it's any. It's no flatter than an Atlas or a Staccato. The slide is smooth. It's not as smooth as a Staccato or an Atlas. Now this is the Staccato XC, and this is the Atlas Artemis. So I didn't do the Wilson Combat just because it's a little bit of a smaller gun. There is a little bit more recoil in the Wilson Combat, even with the compensator. But the Wilson Combat's a carry gun for me, so I kind of wanted just to stick to these three. I didn't include the Limcat because that's a 10 millimeter. But after shooting, these three guns, the Taran Tactical Sand Viper, Staccato XC, the Atlas Artemis. The Atlas is the least amount of recoil, most accurate. I can't say enough about Atlas. It's Atlas is doing some amazing things. The smoothness of the slide is crazy. I've never seen anything like that. And what's cool is that actually the Staccato, which whenever I first got before a round was put through it, the slide was extremely smooth. Now it's damn near Atlas. I mean, it might be. Oh, it's on par with the Atlas now. The slide is super smooth on the Staccato. Now this is a Staccato XC. I don't know about some of the other Staccatos. But it's smooth. The Staccato XC, I'd say for the price point, is probably the best gun that you can buy, especially for around that 4,000, 4,500 range. But yeah, it's not an Atlas. The Atlas has the aluminum grip. The texture's a lot more aggressive on the Atlas, so it feels a lot better to me. I shoot the Atlas great. Even without the red dot, I mean, even at 20 yards out, man, your grouping can be so tight just with iron sights. So, based on my experience, and I don't have the Infinity yet, we'll see how that one stacks up. The Atlas is by far the best gun, without question. I don't even think it's an argument as far as, and this Atlas Artemis has about 5,000 rounds through it. Zero wear on the barrel, and that's because the tolerances, everything is so tight and perfect. It's not like the Taran Tactical. And don't get me wrong, the Taran Tactical is a really nice gun, but for $8,000, my opinion, the Taran Tactical should be about $4,000. I think it should be a couple $100 less than the Staccato XC. The thing it has going for it is obviously the appearance. It's unique looking, and the trigger. But outside of that, everything else is not as good as the Staccato or the Atlas, in my opinion. This here, the slide to frame, it's not totally flush. It's pretty flush, but not totally. Grip safety, there is a ridge, even when it's inactive, not depressed. There's a little bit of a ridge, kind of, or a lip, where basically your grip safety meets the frame, which is kind of cheesy. And when you depress it, it's even worse. The lip's even worse, which is shitty. This gun is not being hand fit and perfected like the Atlas or the Staccato. Another thing about this, whenever you put your red dot on here, these stupid fucking fangs or whatever this shit is, scratches the piss out of your SRO. Or I would say any red dot. I mean, getting it on there was a pain in the ass, but these things dig into that. So whenever I'm basically going to have to leave this SRO on there, because if I were to take this off, you would see two huge fucking scratches right where those points are, which sucks. It's pretty terrible, I think. So this gun I'm probably not going to keep because it's not as good as some of the other ones. And it's one of the most expensive guns I've purchased so far outside of the Infinities. But yeah, there's nothing special about the Taran Tactical besides the gun looks cool. That's it. So you're basically paying for the look of the gun and the recognition. But if you want a better shooting gun, a gun that feels better, Staccato XC, amazing. Any Atlas Titan, Atlas Artemis, Atlas, pick a model. Any Atlas is going to be better than these. The machining, the work that goes into the Atlas is awesome. This, I just don't see the $8,500 price range. So, grip texture, average at best. Not as good as Staccato, not as good as Atlas. Not even close to Atlas. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because I know I've seen a lot of videos, or like on the Taran Tactical, how this is the best gun or the softest, flattest shooting. No, that's not true. Um, I don't understand uh, why people are basically kissing the ass of the manufacturer when there's obviously the gun is not perfect. Come on, Sasha. So, yeah, that's my review after shooting the Sand Viper. Cool looking gun, but most people are still fascinated with the Atlas. Whenever they shoot the Atlas just feels great. I let people at the range try these guns out because for the most part, people are never even going to get to shoot these, or even, I mean, the Taran Tactical is pretty tough to get. So I paid more money in order to get the gun than if you were just going directly to the manufacturer. But I just had to test this thing out and see if it was worth all the talk, and it's not. This gun, like I said, this should be a couple $100 less than the Staccato XC in my opinion. Besides the looks of the gun and the trigger, nothing else is on par with the Staccato or Atlas. And when I'm saying Staccato, I'm talking about the XC. Some of the other ones like the C or some of the Carry, I thought the slide was a little bit more gritty, still smooth, but more gritty. So I'm only comparing a Staccato XC to these. Even without the Atlas, or excuse me, even without the compensator or any kind of ported barrel or anything like that, the Atlas is a smoother shooting gun with more manageable recoil. Staccato would be second, Taran Tactical would be third. The gun feels pretty good in your hand. It doesn't feel as good to me as an Atlas or Staccato. And, there's just something about the Atlas. Atlas is amazing. I have a whole new respect for them, especially because I've heard, so much hype and stuff and videos about the Taran Tactical and how amazing the gun is, and it is a good gun. But if you want a gun that's built on quality and not facade or looks, you're going to get an Atlas. If you have the money to spend, buy an Atlas because it's by far the best gun in my opinion. Staccato would be number 2, Taran Tactical number 3. Then that Wilson Combat, that SFX9, would be number 4. The Wilson Combat's a smaller gun, so you have a little bit more recoil. It's a little different. I almost compared it just because it does have a compensator on there, but decided not to, since these are kind of probably more geared toward maybe a little bit of competition and just a little higher end than the Wilson Combat. So, yeah, there it is, man. And my advice or recommendation to anyone out there would be, if you have the money, buy an Atlas, because you're going to have one of the best made guns on the planet. The next pistol I get is probably going to be one of the Atlas, the ported. I think the Ares or Erebus or Apollo are now making some ported barrels, which that has to be amazing. I can't wait to try one out and just see the difference between one that's not ported or non-compensated and then an Atlas that's compensated or ported. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the videos and hope this will help some people make an informed decision on, just what are you looking for. If you're looking for looks, sure, Taran Tactical. If you're looking for really the best gun, it's going to be the Atlas. Now, of course, the Infinity may top that whenever I get that. We'll see. I can't imagine. Man, I just can't imagine that there's a better gun out there than an Atlas. As far as accuracy, feel, all that kind of stuff. So, trying trying to think what else about this. I don't see any really wear. There's a yeah, there's a little bit of wear on the barrel hood. And like I said, I don't think this is a hand fit gun. I think a lot of these, um, or if it is hand fit, the gunsmith are just not as good as Staccato or Atlas. So I hope this helps, and thank you for watching. And yeah, be safe, everybody. But Taran Tactical, I would say no. It's not a good investment if you're looking for a gun. I don't collect guns. I do this just to get a bunch of different kind of high-end guns, shoot them, and kind of see which one's the best. So I just had to try. If I would have seen this video or a video like this prior to purchasing a lot of these guns, because I've definitely spent some money going through these, I would have done anything to have somebody make a video like this, because I would have never spent $8,500 on this. But I definitely would have spent the money on an Atlas and the Staccato XC. So yes, just know, you see someone with this gun, it looks cool, but just know the Atlas is a better quality firearm. And yeah, it was, disappointing, since it's the most expensive gun I think it's the most expensive gun I've purchased so far. And it was probably the, the most average, at least out of these two, that I've shot. So there's nothing special about this besides the look and the trigger. Everything else is subpar to Atlas. So, yeah, man, everybody, like I said, if you have the money, buy an Atlas, because you're gonna get the best gun, best made gun. And yeah, y'all be good. Until next time.